Alright, hey guys, what's going on? It's Exile Lord here, and we're here doing the Blaze kit review. And if you haven't seen my previous kit review, what I basically do in these is I go over the kit and I give each skill a rating, and then I come up with a couple different scenarios and give those a rating, and then that'll give an overall score for the class. And then you can use that score to sort of compare each class to another if you're trying to decide which kit you want. So, let's go ahead and start off with the Blaze kit review. The first skill is called Immolating Burst, and you basically shoot 3 fireballs in front of you whenever you right click, and they deal damage, and they start off doing 2.2 damage each, and this is true damage, so you start out doing about 3 hearts, and then that increases a little bit all the way up to 4.6 damage per fireball, which is about 7 hearts. One thing to note about these is, since this is your main source of damage, you want to have this every single time you're about to fight somebody, even if it's a 1v1. So if you just use your skill and you kill somebody, and you see somebody else running at you, go ahead and run away, because you're going to need this skill to win fights all the time. So with that said, let's go ahead and rate this. Personally, I would rate this a 5 out of 10, because while it is good at max, it's really good. Once you start getting that 4 damage, you can do 6 hearts. But before that, the damage is really not too good, because other damage classes like Herobrine or Dread can do this damage a lot more often and a lot more consistently than Blaze can. Another thing to note about the skill is that it is an EPS kill, so energy per second, and that is 5 energy per second, so you can use this skill every 20 seconds. So you can only use the skill 1 time per fight most of the times. So with that out of the way, next skill is called Call of the Blazes, and whenever you kill an enemy, you have a 20% chance to spawn a blaze. That increases by 10% each time, all the way up to 100%. And I give this skill a 4 out of 10, mainly because the only time that this is really useful is when you're fighting groups, and Blaze is pretty bad at fighting groups unless they all clump up in one giant ball and you shoot all your immolating burst at them and they all get damaged and they're all low. It just doesn't work like that all the time. So maybe if you are outside of somebody's spawn, or when the wall's just fallen, all the teams are coming out of the bases, that's really the only times that this skill is useful. So that's why it gets a 4. Next skill is called Fire Arrows, and when you start off, you have a 10% chance. When enemies get hit by arrows, they will get slowness 2 for 5 seconds and catch on fire for 3 seconds, and that increases a little bit all the way up to 30%. And this skill gets a 5 because it's not that great. Honestly, the only time you might think that when they're running away, you can go ahead and shoot them and then get slowness 2 and catch up with them. But by the time you draw your bow back all the way and they've sprint jumped a long way, you're not going to catch up to them with that slowness 2. Sometimes you will, sometimes you won't, so it's a little bit iffy. And that burn, it can be good if they don't use the PvP texture pack, as the fire is really screen overbearing. But other times it'll do maybe a heart and a half possibly, but it's not that helpful. So it gets a 5. And then the kit, you start out with a bow with power 1, you get a stake, and you get arrows. And then at 4, you get the diamond sword, and you also get leggings. And then at 7, you get the iron leggings, along with the potion of healing. And, wait, where is it? At 6, you get the bow power 2. And then at max, you get the bow power 3. And also at max, you get projectile. Oh no, you get it at 8 is when you get your projection from projectiles. And the kit gets a 6 because it does start out really well at level 4 with the diamond sword. That is really good, and also gets chain leggings, which isn't too bad. It's only half an armor bar less than leggings, or iron leggings. And then at 7 you get those iron. That's pretty good, but one thing to note is you don't get a potion of healing until level 7. So unlike other kits, will basically get them around 4 or 3 or something like that. And then last gathering talent is called Fossil Fuels, and whenever you mine an ore, you have a 50% chance to gain regen 2 for 5 seconds, and this increases by a little bit each time, all the way up to 100%. And the regen 2 will heal you for about 2.5 hearts, or 2 hearts, half a heart. Anyway, so anyway, this gets a 4 because there is a cooldown when the walls fall. You cannot activate this skill more than once for around 10 seconds. So if you mine an ore and you get the regen 2, you can't get regen 2 if you mine another ore for another 10 seconds. So you only heal for 2.5 hearts each every 10 seconds. And then at deathmatch, this skill does not activate at all, I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, and I'll go ahead and, I don't know, I'll like it or recomment it or something. But I'm pretty sure this skill does not work in deathmatch. So this skill is basically used for half the game, so it's only a 4 because it's not that much of a heal and it's not active a lot of the time. So it's a 4. And then let's go ahead and move on to the ratings I create. I'll explain each of them since maybe all of you haven't seen my previous gear review. So the first one is called Utility, and this basically means how many scenarios does this kit fit in, like a sky base or a hole or above ground or something like that. And this gets a 6 because it does pretty well against every class. It does really well against the tanks, especially pigmen. If you get them into that resistant state where they take less damage, you can use your skill and that'll cut right through it. But against other high damage classes, possibly like Herobrine or Dread, it'll have some issues because those classes outdamage it pretty well. And then another value that I come up with is called Simplicity, and this basically means how simple is the class to use. And this gets a 6 because while it is it's a hybrid class, sort of bow and sword, because a lot of your, not a lot of damage, a little bit of your damage is going to come from your bow, probably trying to shoot people as they come to you or as they're running away, trying to get that final shot in. So that bow does add in a little bit more complex because bow's harder to use than sword, obviously. So if you're not good with bow, I do not recommend this class at all because that is, I would say, maybe a fourth of your damage coming from Blaze. And the next value is called Return, and this basically means how fast can the kit earn you the money that you put back into it. So like say Dread has a really good return value because you can farm kills easy with it because it gets strength, and that's easy. But with Blaze, you do have to get it a pretty high level for it to become really good. I would say you need the skill to at least be 7 along with the kit, so that's already 26 grand, not including all the upgrades before it, and not including buying the kit. And the other skill that you do need to upgrade is this one, because starting off, your 1 out of 10 arrows are gonna activate fire arrows, and that's not really good at all because, let's face it, you all miss shots sometimes, so yeah, it does take a while for Blaze to get pretty good. At high levels it can be super good, don't get me wrong, but it does take a while for it to get to that level, so it only gets a 2 for the return value. And then the last value is called Fun, which basically means how fun the class is to play. And despite what you might hear me say, Blaze is a really fun class to use. I do not play it all because I just don't enjoy playing it, but I can definitely see why other people play it. You can just right click and get somebody down 5 hearts. It's just a lot of fun, especially when you get that fire arrows and somebody catches on fire with your bow and they're looking around like, oh my god, what hit me? But it is really fun, so that value gets a 7. And overall, that gives the kit a 5 out of 10. Not too bad, not too great, but Blaze is sort of in an awkward spot right now because Blaze is really a kit that benefits more from fighting tankier kits like Zombie or Golem or Squid. Those that really rely on their health, where Blaze can just get them down instantly. So maybe if those types of classes become more prevalent, because you see a lot more hunters and HPs and dreads out more than zombies or golems. So if that changes, then Blaze will probably become a little more prevalent. But other than that, I don't see it going anywhere. Now, usually I would have some clips of me giving tips and showing what to do with Blaze, but I basically said them all. Except you just need to carry ores around with you if you want to heal up before deathmatch. But other than that, there's really nothing to it. Just make sure you have your skill before every fight, and you should be totally fine. So sorry about no clips. It's so simple, and I don't think it's worth showing off because basically everybody does that. They try to get their skill before every fight, so it seems a bit redundant to say you should do that. So that was the Blaze Crit review. Yep, that's basically my Blaze Crit review. So thank you guys so much for watching. If there is a certain kit you would like to see next, go ahead and leave in the comments below, and whatever kit gets the most votes. Jeez, what is wrong with my speak? So whatever kit gets the most votes, I will go ahead and do that one next. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.